I am your master of the darkest night. I am the lord of all unholy to come out of the small school. Yeah, I can't pull this off, can I? Genie! Bing! Boom! Anyway, welcome to TV Trash, and with All Hallows Eve upon us, this is the perfect time to pay tribute to someone who set the standard for snarky critics everywhere. I'm talking about the Mistress of the Dark, Elvira. I admit I never really watched Elvira growing up, mainly because I was never interested in the horror schlock that she hosted. But looking back now, where would we be without her? Elvira was truly a pioneer of riffing bad media. The nostalgia critic, the video game nerd, even Joel and the bots might not be around if not for this sassy lassie with the classy chassis. But I'm willing to bet there are some out there who don't know her as more than just some goth chick who looks like a cross between Lily Munster and Dolly Parton. So who exactly is Elvira? It all started in 1981 when the producers of a Los Angeles-based horror show decided to revive it and replace its deceased host Larry Vincent with legendary 50s horror host Vampira. However, negotiations broke down with Vampira rights holder Mila Nurmi, so the show producers began creating their own version and held auditions for the right actress to portray her. The role was given to Cassandra Peterson, a veteran of musical improv theater who nearly replaced Tina Louise as Ginger for the third Gilligan's Island movie. So they caked the Halloween makeup on her and put her in a black beehive wig and a dress that definitely wouldn't have made it past the 50 censors, and suddenly this Kansas-born redhead was turned into the new Mistress of the Dark. And I'm guessing that look convinced a lot more people to turn to the dark side than Darth Vader ever could. Nurmi did file suit against the producers, claiming Elvira was ripping off her character, but that suit was easily dismissed after revealing Vampira herself had been adapted from Morticia Addams. And so in the fall of 1981, Movie Macabre hit the airwaves.
Who's there? Is that you? Come in, darling. I've been expecting you. Oh, come in. Don't be afraid. I won't bite, and you're bound to have a good time. Or my name isn't Elvira.
The first film Elvira hosted was Grave of the Vampire. And sadly, I wasn't able to find that episode. I actually could only get a handful of the original show's episodes, but there were 46 made for the first season alone, which aired almost uninterrupted for a full calendar year. Yeah, and we can barely get TV seasons to last more than 20 episodes nowadays. Elvira's specialty was definitely bad B-grade horror films. She actually hosted a number of cheap films based on Edgar Allan Poe stories in that first season. She also went after a blaxploitation horror film and a number of apparently dubbed foreign films, but she also delved into sci-fi like It Came From Beyond Space and even the last film in the original Gamera series. But to the best that I can research, she never went after Godzilla's Revenge. Too bad. While airing these movies on television did help bring them back into the public light, I'm guessing a lot of viewers didn't care that much about whatever movie was on that week. They probably watched just to see Elvira show off her stuff and crack snarky one-liners right before the commercial breaks.
Yeah, they should have called this turkey the samurai vampire. I mean, never before in my life have I ever heard of a vampire committing hara-kiri. Did anybody get the feeling they just sort of tacked that ending on? It's like they had 4 days to make this turkey and they didn't quite get the ending shot.
And that's the big key about this character. I may be looking too much into this, but I can't help but think that she's since been used as an example of finding goth sexy. But anyone who thinks Elvira is goth doesn't get the character at all. See, it's it's not just the costume that makes Elvira. Peterson gave her a spunky, sarcastic Valley Girl persona within that dark facade that makes her so unique and strangely appealing, a personality that goth chicks don't have.
Yes, sirree, it's little old me, that gal with panache who rakes in the cash. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I really should have said who rakes in the IOUs, but that wouldn't rhyme. That gal with a shape that drives men.
I can't verify this, but since she had a background in improv, I wouldn't be surprised if she came up with a lot of those snappy retorts to what she saw in those films.
I bet when this one played in the movie houses, they used the old cliche, absolutely, positively, nobody will be admitted into this theater during the final 10 minutes of this motion picture.
Mind you, it did take some time. In the episodes I found from the first season, she really didn't seem to have much energy and enough sass in her tone for me to recommend going out to find them. But fortunately, the network was willing to stick with the show, probably because it was really cheap to produce, and she gradually began to build up that insulting yet jovial personality that would make her famous. Well, aside from the other two big reasons. And oh boy, was this lady a master of the innuendo!
Hey, I'm no friend of the groom, okay? For that matter, I ain't no friend of the bride either. The organist invited me. I have this thing for organists, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah, I can't imagine Vampira getting away with any of that in her day. So yeah, the show helped launch a number of old B movies into cult status. I'll let you decide if that was a good thing or not. And it lasted 5 years for a total of 140 episodes. In addition, a few other films with her hosting were re-released directly onto home video. The character made guest appearances on numerous TV shows and movies, and in 1988 she got her own full-length film, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, with a sequel coming in 2001, Elvira's Haunted Hills. And I'm sure being haunted still didn't stop guys from wanting to climb those hills. Oh, good gravy, I'm starting to sound like her now. Finally, in 2010, Elvira's Movie Macabre was revived with a 20-episode season. The new series still runs on a number of stations around the country, mostly on Fox or CW affiliates late Saturday or Sunday nights, so you can check your local listings. There's been talk about finding a new actress to replace Peterson, but that may be a daunting task. The original portrayal of this sassy horror sexpot will likely never be duplicated. I hope you've enjoyed this tribute to the Mistress of the Dark. And now I've got to prepare for all of the brats pounding on my door with these special chocolates that may or may not be laced with a mild laxative. It's a treat and a trick all in one. See you next time on TV Trash.